The best update of the year's blog is here, the summer sweep up for 2026. This was my favorite collection of updates, I guess we can call it, from last year, and I'm very glad that they are coming back for 2026. So as per usual, just like last year, I'm not going to be going over every single thing. I'm just going to be going over things which are relevant to the account that I play. Inquisitor, the combat only 30 defense Ultimate Iron Man. Said that out of order, and true fans will get upset at that. But without further ado, let's start browsing through. Summer Sweep Up is a collection of changes aimed at improving quality of life, addressing long-standing pain points, and often introducing tough topics like rebalances. We love to hear rebalances. And address long-standing main game issues. Sweep Up spawned following success of Project Rebalance. That was great. Introduction of elemental weaknesses alongside gear, defensive stat, and skill rebalancing. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, Hunter improvements. We don't care. I'll read everything else later, but I'll just scroll through here, and as we go, I hope that there's actual changes that are applicable, because otherwise this video is going to be insanely short. I think it's going to be insanely short anyways. Agility, Hunter, and rune crafting. Yeah, none of this stuff is applicable to me. PVM changes. Okay, Gauntlet and Corrupted Gauntlet. You know, if you're reading this yourself, feel free to comment down below what you think if you're doing all of these things yourself, because I would like to read everyone's opinions. Add a cooldown before a Skotizo totem can spawn again after being destroyed. Currently, you have to wait 45 seconds after all of them spawn and essentially kill them in the order that they spawned in order to kill them without an arc light or equivalent weapon. So if this intention is to allow us to destroy the Skotizo totems right when they spawn, that would be great. But if this will allow the totems to spawn again, add a cooldown before Skotizo totem can spawn again. That sounds like that they're just going to be able to endlessly respawn, and I don't like that. Because currently, like I said before, you have to wait a little bit, but you can destroy all of them permanently. I don't want them to respawn. Reduce the size of Skotizo's arena so that you're more focused on dealing damage than increasing your daily step counter running between You know, this is good and bad. Good for the actual process of having to run around the arena, but bad for the combat achievements if you're trying to, for example, Zilliana run around the room to avoid the spawns for that combat achievement. Reduce Chivalry's drain rate so that it matches Deadeye and Mystic Vigor. There is no follow-up sentence. I see. Prevent progress from the night waves. Well, this isn't applicable to us, but that's nice if the waves don't reset. Our thoughts on CM, Chambers, and Prayer Scrolls. Okay, this is applicable. For many of you, this is a topic that needs no introduction, but we'll set the scene to make sure everybody's up to speed here. Chambers of Xeric unique table is weighed heavily towards the Arcane and Dex Prayer Scrolls, meaning that roughly 58, over half percent of the uniques that you'll see, on average, will be a Prayer Scroll. CM completions add the Twisted Ancestral Kit and Metamorphic Dust to a tertiary loot table, but don't make any adjustments to the ordinary loot table, meaning 58% is still Prayer Scrolls. By contrast, Tob's hard mode does make adjustments to the loot table such that the Avernic Defender hilt, the most common unique, has its weighting reduced by approximately 7.7%, which makes all other uniques more common. The chance at seeing a unique chest at hard mode Tob completion is also higher on its own to compensate for the longer completion time, which is mostly mirrored in the increased points per raid offered by a challenge mode Chambers of Xeric completion. The high weighing of Prayer Scrolls applying to CM CoX has been a frequent topic of discussion for some time now. Many players suggesting we should reduce the weighting to or remove the scrolls entirely. That would be crazy. In line with how hard mode Tob handles the Avernic. Well, if they're following this line of logic, the scrolls aren't going to be removed. The suggestion is simple enough and absolutely has some merit, but we've been hesitant to make the simple change here since we think the problem is a little more complicated. So we'd like to talk it through with you and propose something a little out of the box. Approach 1, reduce prayer scroll weighting at slightly, do nothing else. Most closely mirrors the hard mode top approach, like I was referencing above. Puts downward pressure on every unique on the table. Downward pressure means that supply is increased and value likely drops as a result. Prayer scroll weighting is so high that you'd likely still see them very frequently unless we reduce the weighting drastically, which would result in a very significant increase for other uniques. Some items can't really absorb this downward pressure and still maintain a healthy value, namely the Twisted Buckler and Dins, yeah, because they're already so cheap, but also the DHCB and Claws to a lesser extent, because they're more expensive. Approach 2 is reduce the weighting, reduce purple chance. All of the above still applies here. Many players feel as though purple chests at chambers are too infrequent as is. Making them more infrequent would feel bad. Yeah, I'm in agreement with this. They already feel infrequent. If you've watched the series, you'll know that I have, on average, been always due at least one purple, which is sort of nuts. Approach 3, increase purple chance. Still puts downward pressure on everything. Still results in mostly seeing prayer scrolls. Purples are more frequently seen, which probably does make the raid feel better for many players. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really feel like any of these approaches are good. Am I just being a downer? Maybe I just need time to absorb what these really mean. I think everyone would be on board with increasing the purple chance at a baseline, but what if it's... but then prices will be impacted. Interesting. Because my first thought here is do approach 3, but also do approach 1. So increase the purple chance in CMs, but then also reduce the prayer scroll weighting slightly, just like hard mode top. I think that would make the most sense. I mean, hey, comment down below what you think. CoX uniques have historically done a pretty good job at maintaining value. Well, I mean, any of these changes implemented would change the value of the items. That's implicit. Unique prices are delicate, and CoX uniques have historically done a pretty good job at maintaining value, considering, yep. We're cautious about any solution that might result in a drastic increase for these. Instead, we like to float an idea that tackles the problem for a slightly different angle. What if the scrolls themselves had some sort of added value that apply upwards pressure? Here's an idea I've been toying with. What if you could re-roll a unique? Re-roll a unique? Oh, interesting. Hypothetical scenario. Player obtains an arcane. Player can withdraw the scroll or re-roll it. Re-roll provides a 1 in X chance to roll on the unique table again, but with the arcane prayer scroll removed from the table, increasing all other unique weightings. If the 1 in X chance is missed, the arcane is deleted. Well, I mean, either way it would be deleted. Reroll provides... gambling. Yes, more gambling mechanics. I love gambling. Yes, add this right now. So you could roll a dex, hypothetically speaking. Yeah, I'm gonna say... Unironically, though, yes, gambling. Let's do it. That would be very funny. That would make for some awesome video clips, but as for an actual game mechanic, comment what you think down below. I just think this is funny above everything else. Effectively, this creates upward pressure on every item whose value is less than the average reroll value, meaning items like Prayer Scrolls, Din's Bow, or Twisted Buckler are likely to increase in value. There's some downwards pressure created on other uniques, but not to such a degree that it's likely to be detrimental. Ants could effectively try their luck at getting something better. Irons who have a healthy death coffer to reroll duplicate items. Cloggers could reroll absolutely everything, and it's a change that could, in theory, apply to both CMs and normal CoX. I think maybe this should be a CM only thing? I think I want to think more on what implications that has, because CMs are more difficult than normal chambers, and I think re-rolling a duplicate maybe would be the best thing. But this 1 in X chance, this is going to be the big decider as to if it's actually worth it to re-roll a unique and have a chance of it just being deleted from the game. From a system design perspective, something like this achieves a lot, but it's understandably a bit weird. Yeah. Ooh, gear changes and rebalancing. Here we go. It's time to open up that Grain Exchange interface and prepare to panic buy or panic sell. Fastest fingers win. Jokes aside, we tend to use this time to assess the position of existing gear in the game that might be underperforming or overperforming, then make small changes here or there to position gear more effectively to ensure older content remains more relevant. Or that we are not damaging how future-proof progression is with some gear overperforming drastically. These are only minor tweaks in most instances, so we'll list things off and keep things quick. Gear buff, sang staff tweaks, yes! I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Chance to heal increased from 1 in 5, up from 1 in 6. Deals 8 additional damage whenever heal procs. This averages out to plus 1.6 damage per hit. Base max hit increased by 1. Charge cost reduced to 2 blood runes per cast. Oh, yeah. Give me this right now, please. You know, I'd even be fine with you dropping it to 1 blood rune, you know? I'm gonna be a little pushy here about that. That would be incredible. So if we pull up a calculator here, if you don't watch the Inquisitor series, you should watch the Inquisitor series. But my average blood rune cost is 658 per rune. So multiplying that by 3, 1974 per sang shot. But if that's dropped to 2, 1316, it's more affordable, which would be extremely nice. I love this suggestion. That's deal additional 8 damage whenever the heal procs. Didn't expect that. I was definitely expecting the charge cost to be reduced, but hey, I'm all for give me all of these, man. I don't think they'll do 1 blood rune per cast. That's a bit too significant of a drop, I'd say. I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this whole video, but comment what you think about these changes down below. Soul Reaper Axe does not apply. Grazi Rapier Stab accuracy increased by +6. Strength bonus increased by +4. Guaranteed max hit. I think that... I don't know if this is enough to make it relevant. I think numbers guys are going to have to comment down below and let me know if this is significant or not. 1 max hit, of course, is significant in and of itself. +6 accuracy. I don't know. Master Wand gains plus 10% magic damage bonus. That is incredible because, yeah, the Dragon Hunter wand just completely outclassed it when it was introduced. So now the Master Wand has purpose again, which is good. I'd say this is an essential change. I don't know if it's 10% magic damage off the top of my head, but to me that makes the most sense. So... Alright, scrolling. Inquisitor changes. Alright, here we go. It wouldn't be a summer sweep up without Inquisitor changes. Remove the Inquisitor set bonus. This allows all pieces and the mace to function better independently rather than locking their utility to the complete set. Inquisitor's mace gains +5 strength bonus and 7 crush accuracy. This guarantees +1 max hit in all setups and may add +2 max hits in some setups. Inquisitor Great Helm gains +2 crush ac, putting its total crush ac at 10, up from 8, and +2 strength bonus. This matches the equivalent slash bonus and strength bonus granted by the Oath Plate. Beautiful. Inquisitor Hobart gains +4 crush accuracy, putting its total crush bonus at 16, up from 12, matching the equivalent slash bonus granted by the Oath Plate chest. Again, I'm gonna need the number people to go over this because off the top of my head, I don't know if this is good or not. +2 strength bonus. I'm pretty sure there are other helmets which have higher, but if the goal is to line up Inquisitors with Oath Plate, I think they missed one aspect, which I mentioned in my Inquisitor's Dilemma video. I believe it was a year or 2 ago. Extremely long time ago. Let me pull up the wiki page. So if you'll see here, oh, bright mode, Jesus Christ, get that off. So as you can see here, we have the Oath Plate set of gear. And you can see that the stab, slash, and crush bonuses here, 0, 0, and then it has the equivalent slash bonuses. It's the slash armor set. That's wonderful. However, if we click over to the Inquisitor's armor set here, you'll see that we have a few negative accuracy bonuses here. What point do these serve? Remove them. If we want to bring Inquisitors in line with Oath Plate, then you're going to want to remove these negative bonuses as well. Does that serve much of a purpose? No, not really, in reality, but the Oath Plate armor doesn't have them, so why should Inquisitors? I mean, alternatively, you could add these equivalent bonuses to Oath Plate to bring them in line with each other if you want. I mean, if you really want to emphasize the fact that this is a slash armor set, you're definitely going to want to have some negatives here. Okay, I'll stop being, what's the word for that? Is that facetious? I'll stop being... I'm goofing around, I'm having fun. I'm a big fan of seeing these summer sweep up gear buff changes. Anyways, let's continue. Assuming that there's more that applies to Inquisitor. So, burning a claw special attack, energy cost increased to 35% from 30. These are incredibly energy efficient and often outcompete special attack options. Yeah, burning claws are extremely good. I remember using them on the main account and sheesh, they're really good, yeah. So I do think that energy cost increases warranted. New early game uniques. Interesting. Bolster some loot tables with gear that help players start climbing the gear ladder for magic and range. That's actually extremely good. Killer Watts, Sea Snakes, Molinisks, Infernal Mages. Made using a Fire Ruby. All crafting each of these amulets will have a runecraft requirement. All right, never mind. This does not apply to combat-only accounts. Range Jewelry, Necklace of Fangs. Drops from Turos. This one doesn't read as, like, it needs to be crafted, right? Yeah, sure. Drops from Turos at a rate of 1 in 128, provides +1 range strength, +12 range AC. Yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, does it make thematic sense that you have to craft these amulets? Sure, why not? However, I would obviously prefer that they just drop as the amulets themselves. But, of course, that is my bias talking as a self-restricted account, and the game should not cater to me. With that said, at least we get one, which seemingly doesn't have to be crafted, at least according to the fact that the magic amulets need to be crafted, and the range necklace seemingly does not. Early game run energy improvements. Fully restore run energy and cure any damage over time effects like poison upon completing a quest. Interesting. Add 1 to 3 dose energy potions to a variety of early game loot tables. Okay. Can't really complain about that, I guess. Buff energy potions to restore 15% run energy per dose. I think they're still irrelevant. I think adding a small or a short stamina timer effect to these energy potions, like 10-15 seconds, and then maybe on the super energy ones have like 30 seconds. I think I heard this suggestion in a No Monkey video, but I genuinely agree with that. Energy potions, super energy potions, these are useless, and I genuinely think that they will still remain being useless after this. That's my opinion. I've never used them, even though I have 1 agility on this combat-only account. And that appears to be the extent of changes. Potential changes. Let's look through this quickly. Is there anything... Oh, wait. I almost missed the Nightmare? We're confident this position... Yeah. Put your hands together for the unofficial mascot of the summer sweep. As you know her, you love her, the Nightmare of Ashihama. Alright. Yup, we love to see Nightmare changes. What are we discussing today? Note the changes we discuss in this segment are intended as long-term and would rely on future content. These aren't changes that we're planning to make alongside other things we've outlined so far. It wouldn't be a summer sweep up without the Nightmare making an appearance, and from a game design perspective, the boss certainly lives up to its name. Over the years, we've taken numerous passes at the Nightmare, including Fasani's, aiming to make the encounter feel more worth engaging. Holy, I'm talking lots of words. It's been a while since I've recorded a yapping video such as this. Since Fasani's Nightmare in particular stands out as one of the most solid solo encounters in Old School. We still have some issues here which we think might require radical solutions, rather than just a couple more number tweaks, so let's outline our issues. Some of these focus specifically on Inquisitor, which we've covered in the gear rebalancing section above to keep things organized. The Nightmare's loot table feels bloated. This is true. There are 4 pieces of Inquisitor, the Nightmare Staff, 3 separate orbs to put into the staff, 8 unique rewards, can make it really frustrating to chase a couple of specific items, especially when a decent number of these rewards, like the orbs, are relatively niche. Some bosses have very little functional or appeal for players at any stage of the game and could be revitalized with more interesting loot. Inquisitor doesn't feel like a worthwhile unlock, and relying on the full set limits the Inquisitor's mace's potential to be a solid main hand weapon. This is why we're making the adjustments outlined earlier in the blog. Fair enough. I don't really have anything to dispute. Regardless of how we address the first 2 points, the improvements to the Inquisitor armor set and mace aren't dependent on the changes we'd like to explore in this segment. We'd like to position Nightmare more strongly as the place that you go to get Inquisitor, rather than the place that you might get Inquisitor from eventually in a bunch of wars that you don't care about. Yeah, Move the Volatile and Eldritch Orbs off the Nightmare's loot table. It might be a stronger thematic here to have the Nightmare drop a generic orb and have it be charged with some unique essence that drops from other NPCs, rather than bosses all over Gelenor stumbling across these shiny spheres. I'm working through the video, don't worry guys, I'm making it through. Let the Harmonized Nightmare Orb absorb the weighting of the other orbs. You know, I'm 1000% biased here. This is the last orb I need from Nightmare. So yeah, Jagex, please do this. I would greatly appreciate it, yeah. At Fasani's Nightmare, this would mean that the drop rate of around... This would mean a drop rate of around 1 in 533, up from 1 in 1600. Increase the weighting of the Nightmare Staff from 3 to 4 so that you're more likely to obtain 1 by the time you obtain an orb. Increase the generic chance of hitting the Inquisitor Nightmare Staff loot table by 10% to compensate for the staff's weighting. Does that mean... I think this is just weighing more towards this table rather than a 10% drop rate increase. So yeah, chance of hitting the table. So you're more likely to hit this table instead of that orb. This would mean more Inquisitor, more focused loot, and potentially more reasons to check out other bosses if we deem them to be appropriate sources of the other 2 Nightmare orbs. Be sure to let us know if you think we're barking up the wrong tree here. No, I definitely think that there are too many drops at Fasani and Nightmare. So I do think this is a good direction to go in. Though I do want to respect the status quo. So whatever they end up doing with the, I guess they said they wanted to charge unique essence that drops from other NPCs. Make it so that these essences are still obtainable by only having Priest in Peril completed, so that the status quo remains upheld here. Now that could be a new boss in the area of Mauritania, maybe even elsewhere in the world, I don't know, but I definitely think the status quo should be upheld. If this does seem like something you're on board with, and we'll keep these orbs in mind with any future content releases, and pull moving these orbs over on a case-by-case basis. This means that once both orbs mentioned above are shifted, we'll be able to revisit the specific changes to the Nightmare itself. More changes to the Nightmare itself? Unless if they're just referring to these points up here. I don't know. Anyways, and with that, we're at the end of our initial proposal. We'll welcome all your thoughts, feedback, and discussion. Wow. All right. So can we go back and... This is totally biased, totally greedy, totally me. Can we go back and revisit that Slept Teleport scroll thing? Is this even right for me to suggest this? Okay, I'm completely biased. I'll just say it right now. And maybe this shouldn't be introduced just to compensate for my self-restriction. And I'm sure anyone watching this video will agree who isn't a combat-only account. But I want those Slept Teleport scrolls or something to allow me to get to Slept faster. It takes me 5 minutes to walk there, man. Like, that's over half of the length of the boss fight. Please, something. I don't know. Just please give me something to let me get to the Nightmare faster. And yes, people who are not in the know will say, oh, just get your Draken's medallion from the Taste of Hope quest. I can't do the Taste of Hope quest. As I mentioned earlier, I have thousands. You hear me? Thousands of Sleppy tablets. So, yeah, I think I just answered my own question there with that statement. But anyways, if you all at the very least enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe, and do all the relevant things. Comment the fact that you think none of the suggestions I made should be implemented due to being self-restricted. The game should not cater to me, so on and so forth. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.